Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with a quick preview video today, looking at the Big 12 still. We've done Baylor and Texas so far. We're going to do the Oklahoma Sooners today, looking at a new head coach in Brent Venables, who put together amazing defenses when he was under Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers. But now he has a task going into an offensive league in the Big 12. You know, that's what makes it so interesting, because Oklahoma's been known for offenses. And they got Dillon Gabriel, who comes in as a transfer quarterback this year, as Caleb Williams transferred out, leaving with Lincoln Riley to go to USC this offseason. Oklahoma, when you look at what they did last year, they did pretty well. Not exactly what you expect. Double-digit wins, though. 11-2 overall last year, 7-2 in Big 12 play. But because of two losses, they did not make it to the Big 12 title game, nor did they make it to the college football playoff. You look at what they had last year, and they were on a roll. They won like their first, do the math, 9 games, right? They were 9-0, and then they finally took a bye week, and they lost to Baylor, which isn't a bad loss. They beat Iowa State. That's a pretty good win. And they lost to in-state rival Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy. And then they go and they win the Alamo Bowl against Oregon. I was live for that game. It was a pretty good one. So it's going to be a little different this time around with a new head coach and a new quarterback, a lot of young faces. When you look at it, they are expected to make a good run, though. They are expected to run the table. They are expected to have a good defense. They are expected to do some big things. I expect them to do some big things, too. I probably am not high on Oklahoma like most people are. I'm probably not high on Oklahoma like most people are this offseason. But let's take a look at what they got coming in for 2022. Right, and again, I mentioned 11 wins last year, but this year, expect them to go above 500, not even barely. I think greatly over 500. They're going to get more than 6 wins, but I don't know if they could hit the double-digit mark. Let's see. UTEP, Kent State, at Nebraska, Kansas State, at TCU, against Texas, Kansas, bye week, at Iowa State. Shout out to Jeff Webster, Mr. Ames, Iowa. Yeah, love you, man. Baylor Bears, at West Virginia, Oklahoma State, and at Texas Tech. So I think it's a favorable schedule. I think the non-con works out. Teams like Kent State, Nebraska, UTEP, you get some good matchups in there. The Oklahoma-Nebraska rivalry, game of the century years ago, that comes back into play here. When you look at it, and of course, they beat them last year at home. It's a home and home. I think it sets up pretty greatly. I think the non-conference, look, I'm looking at this slate, and I'm looking at a 3-0 start. Possibly could get upset somewhere around, along the road. That's a great possibility. I don't think so. I don't think Nebraska is the team to upset you. I would be careful about Kansas State. Kansas State has gotten you in recent years. Did they get you back-to-back years in 19 and 20? Maybe I'm mistaken, but you got Texas and the Red River rivalry. I'm high on Texas this year. I know I'm messing with them a little bit, kind of jokingly, because of the Alabama-Texas game week 2, which I'm so pumped up for. Let's go. Kansas, Iowa State. Iowa State should take a step back. They lost Brock Purdy and Breece Hall and company. I think Mike Rose on the linebacker side. We'll look at Iowa State in a different video, of course. West Virginia, JT Daniels, could they be good at this point in the season? I think they could play a pretty close game. This is tough. This is tough to call. I think it does set up. I think they could go into that Texas game going 5-0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then week 6, they could be 5-0. You could have an undefeated matchup in the Red River rivalry game. That could be something huge. It says time to be determined, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be on ABC, and it's probably going to be a noon game in Eastern time. I like Texas this year and Quinn Ewers. I like the transfers. I like Sarkisian. There's a lot of hype, more so this offseason around Texas for the first time in quite a while. It was Sam Ehlinger. Was it 2019 they had all the hype, and they did disappoint? I think the hype is real this year. I really do. Kansas, you should handle. Iowa State, that's where the trap games come in. I think trap games are more so Iowa State, Oklahoma State. I forgot to make a banner for the trap games, by the way, and I apologize. There's some teams that are going to get Oklahoma this year. I don't think it's a 10-win big-time season. At least for year 1 under Brent Venables. I don't. The thing that concerns me the most is how does he handle an offensive league? Because he's been this defensive coordinator at Clemson for the past decade or so, and he's done great. I'm not here to diss on Brent Venables, not at all. He's been great. He's done amazing. He's put together some great defenses. Cleveland Farrell, Austin Bryant, Christian Wilkins, all those guys that were part of the 2018, blue-eyed Alabama team. That was Brent Venables, right? So he's done some big things. His defenses have gotten Clemson to the college football playoff. Now the pressure's on him as a head coach, which means he's got to deal with both sides of the football. I like Dylan Gabriel, right? I think that he's good, right? Now, they do lose some guys in the portal, too. Noah Areens, who's an edge. They lost Dorian Plumlee. They brought in Javion Hester from Missouri. They brought in LV Bunkley Shelton, who's another wide receiver from Arizona State. They lost Latrell McCutcheon, who's a cornerback to USC. I didn't even realize they lost a defensive player to USC too, because they also lost Mario Williams and, of course, Caleb Williams to Lincoln Riley and USC. Kenny Walker comes over as a corner from Louisville. They lost T.D. Roof, or they gained T.D. Roof. He comes out of the portal from App State, who's a linebacker. He has immediate eligibility. He's enrolled. Trey Morrison. They brought over a lot on the defensive side of the ball, and it's great that they have experience there, because they're going to need it. And this is look. The Big 12 does not have defense. It's gotten better over the years, but it's still an offensive league. And even for Oklahoma, right? They still are an offensive team. I mentioned what they went last year too was 11-12. I expect them to take a small step back, and I say small. Man, the question is, what are the trap games? Be careful with Oklahoma State. Be careful with West Virginia. Be careful with Texas. Be careful I'd be careful at Nebraska, even though I'm not high on Scott Frost. You just never know, and especially how young they're going to be. They also get 2 nobody non-con games before they go play the Cornhuskers. At TCU could be a trap. I think they could beat teams like TCU and Kansas State. Kansas State got them a few years ago. I don't expect that this year. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not saying it's an automatic win. None of these are automatic wins here on the schedule other than UTEP and Kent State. At Texas Tech, I haven't even looked at Texas Tech. Nobody really – I mean, they're a 5-7 team year in and year out. I don't know what I expect from them. I'll say this. Go ahead and give you guys my thoughts. I see them going – I'm just going to go ahead and throw it up there. 9-3. 9-3 is what I'm going to go with. And I think their losses are pretty reasonable. Late in the season, West Virginia and Iowa State after the bye week. Texas. Now, maybe I'm wrong about – it could be 10-2. Maybe I'm wrong about Iowa State. I don't know what it is, but I feel like, you know, Matt Campbell is a really good coach. I know he lost Brock Purdy and Breece Hall, but he can recruit and put together some interesting teams. Iowa State, where are they currently? Oklahoma is 7th in recruiting in 2023 now. Iowa State's 32. Again, I haven't looked at Iowa State yet, but I'm going to call an upset at Jack Trice in Ames. Baylor, I expect Baylor to win the whole thing. Them or Texas. One of those two teams is going to win the Big 12, right? But I'm going to call an upset. I'm going to say Oklahoma gets Baylor. But there's 3 losses, Texas, Iowa State, and West Virginia. So 9-3 for the Oklahoma Sooners in my book. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. He's got a great plan. Remember that. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, folks, Ballard Sports Media, check it out. Love you guys.